reporting to, yeah, no, sorry about that. And then there's also software proficiency. Software proficiency is your former computer basic skills, which were called computing concepts. Because as you know, there are people who would go, for instance, I'll make an example of you coming from a rural area and you don't have these software proficiency skills, which are just your common basic computer skills, being able to make a spreadsheet, being able to open up things in and around a PC. So those skills have been proven to be critical, even though people look at them and think, no, it's just basic. A person needs to know what Office is and all of that. But we've seen what's happened in varsities when COVID hit. A lot of students weren't able to use laptops because their computer literacy is at a low. There's no software proficiency that they were taught, which now universities want to make it compulsory for learners, for students to actually learn computing concepts regarding of the course that you'll be in. So those are some of the hard skills, technicals. That's one of the technical skills that's basic, but has been an issue in and around South Africa. And then there's project management and data analysis. Data analysis has also changed in a way. And if you look at it now, we've got data science. Data science, what I love about it, and I think everyone should appreciate, is the fact that it has now brought commerce and science life together. If you remember, they were separate. If you were in business, you did business. If you were in engineering, you were in engineering. But now we've seen that in order to make life more easier and more understandable, and for businesses to be able to pick themselves up, you need commerce and science together. Hence, we've got places like African Bank, who've now are developing their own data analysts who work according to water. One example I'll make, the water shortage in the Western Cape. So now tariffs have gone high, and now the banking sector needs to give that rope at least to the consumer to say, with the water scarcity and tariffs needing to go up, what can they as a bank do in order to give leniency or not to overcharge? So they've got data scientists working there who can now bring info to be able to help the sector. So these are the top 5 skills which I feel are important in this time, in this basic time. So yes, and now I'll just explain what employers look for. So there's 2 types of skills that are out there that are both required. It's required and desired. And now with what required, it's what the employee wants you to come knowing already at work. Yes, there will be some kind of form of training if you are introduced into a field that you are new to. And then there's your desired skills, where the employer is willing to help you and give you the new skills that you require as an employee. Like, for instance, I'll make an example about myself. With my engineering background, I was at a previous employer taught programming, of which now I can say I am a good coder because of the training that was given to me. And now looking at programming and coding being the things that are now out there, that's what the employer, I was given a desired skill, which I didn't have qualification wise. So those are the type of skills and that employers, those are the type of people, that technical skills that the employers are looking for. You wanted to say something, Ali? Oh, okay. Yeah. So the technical skills that you should include in your resume, there are quite a lot of them. I know I've only said about 5 of them, but There are quite a lot, and your resume should include from 10 to at least 30 of those skills with a combination of both your soft and your hard skills. Yes, technical is more out there now, but as we've looked at things, everyone needs to have a balance of both these skills, and looking at what the future holds, and with things becoming too technological, technical skills are what the future is gonna hold. And yes, machineries are coming, but your technical skills, remember, you as the person who has the technical ability can only tell what the machine needs to do and not the machine by itself. So yes, you will still need your engineers, but now those technical skills, yeah, will be done by your machines and stuff like that, yes. And then here, there's some bit of research that was done to look at which are the skills that are really needed by employers, but don't really have. And as you can see, the biggest percentage is technical skills, which is also programming based. Your softwares, I would say basically your IT and technological skills are out there. And then second to that is your management skills, because each organization does depend on a good managerial structure that will take up all the employees and put them at the level where the company would benefit or institution would benefit. And then third to that is that there are those skills that are out there now, but the employers are not sure whether the company does need that or the company does not. And if we look and go back to research that has come through now, you've got your blockchain that is out there. A lot of companies have gone into using that. You've got your technical writing skills, which are needed. I'll make Eskom a good example of that, because we don't know what really is happening at Eskom, because new things have been built and other people still blame that, no, the old systems are the problem, of which I think it's a balance of all these skills that lack in organizations these days. So we'll also go into the financial sector, whereas now something as common as Excel is actually now a major tool in banking and all financial companies and so forth. So these are the skills that I feel that, yeah, the world is looking at and are in demand and really need to be nurtured, and people need to understand the importance of these skills. And yes, they go part and parcel with soft skills, hence you can't have only one skill set, but think the other side won't survive. It's a yin yang when it comes to both these skills.
Thanks, Viwe. That was very informative. To all of the attendees, are there any sort of questions or comments? You guys are welcome to use the chat feature just to ask us.
I see there's some things on chat, but I couldn't open.
Is everyone good? Okay, we'll leave it for the questions towards the end of the webinar. So Viwe, do you mind taking us to the next slide, please?
Oh, okay, let me do that.
Oh, okay, you stop. Okay, thank you.
Stop my sharing.
Yeah, if you don't mind, then let me just share my sorry guys, 1 second. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Oh, oh dear. Okay, can you guys see this presentation? No, I don't know what's happening here. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys about soft skills. So in the relationship with hard skills and soft skills is actually quite an important one. Obviously, with technology, it is designed and made by people, and so thus people will always be pertinent to the changes that we have in industry today. But there are also some other key skills that can be learned and be applied in many industries that also doesn't require technology in them. So soft skills can be really seen as human skills. It can be seen as interpersonal skills, and they refer to your ability to interact and to also to communicate with each other in an effective way in a professional manner. So these types of skills are actually really high in demand because they are the foundation of all work. So a core part of work is to bring value to people, to communities, to other groups. And so because inherently we're people and we have to work together, if you do not have the important soft skills, you're not going to be able to bring that imperative value. So if you don't have this, that collaboration is seemingly impossible. And if you do have those strong human skills, such as emotional intelligence, then your ability to work with other people becomes a lot more easier and a lot more enjoyable experience. So just even really the simple act of treating others with kindness, with empathy, and with respect people will be more likely to cooperate with you, and you will also lead to a more productive and efficient business and efficient relationships. So I'm going to take you through some of the top 5 skills that have been identified by Indeed, LinkedIn, and other major universities around the world for skills to take with you on your CV and to take with you into work. And this is some of them. So the first one is adaptability. And adaptability is obviously because with change is inevitable. It happens with life, with personal life, with relationships, and obviously in business and in industries. So every company is looking for flexibility, they're looking for agility, and they're looking on how to stay on top among the changes that are happening. And this is obviously very important because with the rate that technology is changing, you have to embrace these new processes. As Viwe mentioned, obviously something like artificial intelligence, data analysis, they're coming through and they are shaping up your system procedures. They're shaping up how we work with each other. And so you have to do that in order to stay competitive and to stay relevant. So for companies to actually now find adaptability in their field, they're looking for people that have those strong skills. So if you're a person that learns very quickly, if you like to try new things, then you're going to be very, very attractive to companies out there. And so you really have to learn on how to change in order to achieve success. So another key part about this is that you have to be able to rely on your own judgments, and you also have to be confident in the decisions that you make. So this can happen with any business meetings or any new processes or development that's happening. An interesting way to kind of acquire the skill of adaptability is not only to sort of just try new things and try new processes of learning something. It's also the ability to see change for what it is. And when you identify it, to know that something needs to happen. And what are you willing to do to make that happen? So some people might have the urge to have control over things, and you need to really understand on how to let that go so that you can learn the arts of adaptation. Another interesting soft skill is communication. So this is perhaps a bit more obvious communication is integral to human society. It's integral for communicating with other businesses, with our clients, with our staff, with each other. But especially in 2021, with the rapid change of technology, it is not only how to write an email correctly, it's the art of communicating effectively online and offline. If you're able to deliver information at any point without physical interaction, then you're going to be a highly communicative individual who's using digital platforms. Obviously, this can be done through professional WhatsApps, your emails. There's chat platforms such as Slack, Discord, even using the Google Drive or using Dropbox, Microsoft. So any of those kind of like cloud or sort of collaborative platforms, even Team and Zoom, being able to navigate the different types of communication channels is a clear part of communication. So another soft skill is creative problem solving. So with any job, well, obviously in every industry will have its challenges. And so for anyone who's looking for work or even as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to handle those challenges in a professional and also in an efficient manner. Especially with this last year, it really proved that the need for creative problem solving was absolutely essential to remaining relevant in industries. So many education enterprises had to just move online, and some of them succeeded really well, especially during the pandemic. And so that's why it's expected in the job market for employees to come up with creative solutions if any issues that they face within their team or for their workflow. So if you are in a position, if you get into a position where you can showcase your innovation and showcase your ideas, that's going to be a really, really key skill to have and to keep within a company. There's not many creative individuals in the corporate sector, but it is something that is very, very advantageous at the moment. So very also important soft skill for industries and for students is time management. Time management can be applied not only to your study life, but it can also be applied to your personal life and also to your work routine. So time management is seen as the ability to work in two frames effectively and efficiently. The ability to even do this is not a testament to your own skill, but it's actually a testament to how you take yourself seriously. So you don't want to allow yourself for procrastination. In fact, you want to promote priority when you are doing anything in your daily life. So skills that can be sort of, or even just abilities and routines that can be applied within time management is the art of scheduling, using calendars, using task management tools, or even writing a notebook where you're writing down your goals and your to-do lists. Also delegation, which is very, very important and high demand. Delegation is a skill that reflects not laziness or procrastination, but actually shows that you can trust your other people in your team to do work while you are focusing on other jobs. So that's a very important tool for prioritization. So for that, you would have to bear in mind, you always want to put first work that is important and work that is urgent. So that's just two things to bear in mind when you're thinking about what am I going to do first in the day and what is the most important thing for me to do. And then another skill that we're going to talk about, and I will actually expand into this within the next slide, is the concept of growth mindset. So growth mindset is the ability to learn new things, this ability to see certain things as opportunities. And it's a really pertinent skill that is really great to have is also in your personal life. It can really change the entire mindset or attitude of how you see life and what it can hold for you and the kind of value and happiness that you can bring to it. And then lastly is creativity. So creativity is almost a #1 valuable skill to have for companies, because those with creativity have the ability to solve problems, they have the ability to see innovation before others. And so they're able to remain relevant and stay above the competition. So that's another very, very key soft skill. So I'm going to talk to you guys and focus mostly on the last two, as they are very, very important, and they're very, very easily accessible and achievable to you guys listening today. So you might be able to look at some of the statements that you see on your screen and see whether on which line do you identify with. Perhaps you can either see something that you don't know and you say, okay, well, I'm either good at one thing or I'm not good. I don't know how to ride a bicycle. I don't know how to skateboard. I don't know how to, cook a 3-course meal. But perhaps you need to say, okay, well, I want to learn that. I don't know how to do that, but I can learn anything that I do with my life. So if you find that maybe perhaps the statements on the right-hand side, you stick to things that you know, you're easily to give up. Perhaps you believe that your life and your career is set up in front of you and you can only achieve so much. That is definitely not true. Remember, some of the wealthiest and the most successful people in the world have all started with a really good mindset, and that's one that's aligned with growth. So these are some key tips in order to focus on a mindset of growth. The first one is to view any challenge as an opportunity. So just as we've shared with you some really key technical skills, they might seem really scary or really daunting, but perhaps they're actually a very, very interesting and important opportunity that you can take and really lead through your career. You have to learn how to trust the process as opposed to the end results. So with any project, whether it's quite a large one or even a quick one, always remember to value the process of what you're doing, and within that journey, instead of just focusing on the end result. So with any big goal, even that you set in your life, you can't just buy a house so quickly. You need to get a few steps in there to be able to be in a position to get the house. So trust the process, and through that, you'll end through with your end results. So this one can be aligned with sort of a sense of like jealousy, is that it's really important to celebrate your growth with others. So that's also to celebrate their growth and also your personal growth. So there's another mentality that can be quite common in the world. It's called crab mentality. And it's like this idea that, if your life is like in a hole, then no one else is allowed to, creep out of the hole and live beyond. And so that can be very dangerous, not only for other people, but also for your own mental health. So it's really important that when you do see success out there, to actually celebrate it and, be inspired by it and say, hey, like I think it's really cool that you did this thing. I want to do that one day, and I will. This is also a very important skill to learn, and that is also the concept of grit. So to cultivate grit is like to cultivate an idea of resilience. It's the sense to never really give up. You want to push and push and push. We're in a world where there is quite a few billion people. There's quite a lot of, skills. People are very passionate. People are really moving forward. And so they get there through their hard work and through their perseverance. So to always be able to continue in that sense of growth, you have to also, continue on and keep moving forward. And lastly is to have an ownership of your own attitude. So there's a very famous saying that says that if you can't change your situation, you need to change your mindset. And so this is particularly important for the growth mindset, is that perhaps even if you are in a situation where you feel like the odds are against you, you need to understand your environment, to take ownership of that and say, hey, like maybe I can't change what's happening, but I can change the way that I see it. And so you have more of a sense of control in your life, and a sense of surety. And so this really is quite special, not only for personal growth, but also for career growth. Even if you see certain challenges that are happening in a work environment that you're not sure of, or you feel it's wrong, just changing your mindset about how it's approached can really alter the opportunities that are open up for you. Before I move on, do I have any questions or any comments on some of the skills that I have mentioned before? Anything that you guys want me to talk on? Are we all good? Okay, if you guys do have any questions, just use the chat. I do have it opened up, so if you guys do have anything to say, then I can assist you guys. So another very interesting and also important growing skill in 2021 is the sense of creativity. And so we host actually creativity workshops and masterclasses at the ILeadLAB. And it's very interesting to see people who come in, even coming into a business school, would say, you know, maybe they think that they're not creative. And actually everyone is born incredibly creative with an incredible amount of potential. It's just how to tap into that and to use that to grow and use that to adapt. So creativity within sort of a business sense can be to find a new way to perform tasks, to meet different challenges, and to also solve problems. And so this type of creative thinking actually really helps companies move in very productive directions. And so therefore, creative people are sometimes the most valuable people that are found in a company, because they are the ones that are really bringing that innovation, that are really bringing that interesting line of direction that you're not going to just find from normal employees. So how would you be able to build a sense of creativity? Well, this is actually within the art of play and relaxation. So any type of recreational activities or even hobbies can help foster creativity. Through the acts of solving problems, solving riddles, even playing games is another way to build creativity, and just through the simple acts of play and experimentation. This is with finding new ways to do things, having a playful attitude towards it, and sort of also trying to open your mind on how to approach a certain problem or to meet a certain challenge. The key takeaway here is actually really to get out of your comfort zone. So if you're able to get out of your comfort zone, you're in a place where you're moving forward and you are growing. And so the important part is that even while there are very key hard skills that are moving the world forward and that companies are looking for, it's also important to note that there are different soft skills that are also needed in people in order for us to work efficiently together. And so with any hard skill does actually require soft skills to back up that task-related knowledge. So the act of designing, the act of developing, the act of collaborating, the act of solving complex problems, they all require creativity, they all require adaptability. So you will find that with any sort of new skill that you're learning, you need to back it up with key soft skills to support that. So soft skills can also be seen as more difficult to learn, and therefore they can be seen as more valuable as well. Obviously, there are definitely complex technical problems that there's handfuls of people in the world that literally hold the power. For example, Capitec Bank is one company that has multiple job openings and is really struggling to fill those jobs because they all require very key, important, hard skills that is just not available in the country right now. And it's also important to remember that all of the workplaces of today are highly collaborative, and they definitely rely on those soft skills to get things done. So this is in terms of collaboration, in terms of problem solving. And then some things that I haven't mentioned before, but also having a sense of empathy and a sense of humor will definitely improve the customer experience. So remember, at the end of the day, we are people, we are working with people, we are working to solve people's problems. And so we have to always remember that anything that we design, anything that we cater for, we need to have that human touch. And that's really part of the human mind, is humor and empathy. And just to also remind you guys that human characteristics cannot be replicated or replaced by automation and artificial intelligence. So AI is definitely used in order to automate processes, but it's not here to automate experiences. And there is two key skills or two key elements of business that is often misunderstood, especially when you're learning about AI or even just learning about many of the new skills and how it's been put into work. So the future of work also really does lie with soft skills. And then, yeah, do we have any questions with today and any of the skills that have been mentioned? We have a very shy crowd today. I don't think anyone has any questions. Okay, so I just want to thank you guys from my side on joining us for today's webinar. It was a great honor to share these skills with you all. I hope you guys did learn something and have some takeaways. It's also really important to remember that a lot of these skills can be very accessible just by looking through the internet, by taking personal sort of assessments and tests, looking for counselors and advice. And if you do have any questions in terms of the skills that we have mentioned, feel free to drop us an email so that we can assist you. Viwe?
Yes, no. I would also just like to thank everyone.
Viwe, sorry, I think you muted.
I'm muted. No.
Oh, sorry, that was my speaker. Sorry, continue.
Oh, no. Just thankful to everyone who attended. It's been my first webinar. It'll get better. It is always great to learn new skills. I'm perfecting my soft skills through these webinar sessions. And I hope you guys, if you do have any questions that will pop up after the session, where you can just forward them to us. We're always willing to lend a hand. And being a technical guy, I hope to see most of you guys at the lab very soon. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you and well done, Viwe, for his first webinar. It was stellar. Have to do a few webinars this year. And so yeah, just to remind everyone, so Viwe is based in Pretoria, but also in Johannesburg. So if you are based in any of those areas, and you want to visit the lab and come see a lot of the work that we're doing, a lot of the really amazing sort of technical work and soft skills work, then please do get in touch and visit him. I'm based at the ILeadLAB as well, so we are open. And so if any students want to come in, they're looking for collaboration, they're looking for assistance, we're most happily welcome to see how we can help and how we can make just the act of getting a job, even starting a business, a lot easier and a lot less scary. So it was so nice to spend time with you guys. Thank you again so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon.